I want to say that, before I go there, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
I want to say that, just as I mentioned earlier today in the House Business Committee, Mr. Speaker, our understanding of the provisions of Article 114, Sub-Article 2, is that the House does not require the concurrence of the Cabinet Secretary, but simply requires to take into consideration the views of the Cabinet Secretary, which views it can either accept or reject. Mr. Speaker, for that purpose, Mr. Speaker, I am of the view that we can still prosecute all the proposed amendments. Mr. Speaker, I want to go to the second issue, if you may listen, if you may give me attention.
Yes.
If members could give me attention.
Order, honorable members. You will listen to the minority leader in silence.
Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 131, and I want to read it for the avoidance of doubt. And as I do so, Mr. Speaker, this notion that we are in a hurry should also be dispensed with, because I don't think we are in a hurry. We have all the time to deal with the issues.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
No.
Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 131. Standing Order 131. Provides that where a bill has been read a second time and before commencement of the Committee of the Whole, as we are about to do, Mr. Speaker, amendments have been proposed to it, which in the opinion of the Speaker require harmonization. The Speaker may direct any member proposing an amendment to the bill to appear before the relevant departmental committee dealing with the subject matter of the bill to present his or her proposed amendments, and the committee shall submit a report to the House on the result of the exercise before the Committee of the Whole House is taken. Mr. Speaker, you will notice from the Standing Order 131 that the amendments that have been proposed go to the core of the bill, and some have got far-reaching ramifications. I just want to plead with you, because we haven't been told if at all a window was provided to the Committee on Finance, chaired ably by Honorable Kimani Kuria, to undertake this harmonization process. In fact, in parliamentary parlance, it is referred to as winnowing. That would then make the work of the whole House easier, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is much more to it, Mr. Speaker, because, Mr. Speaker, in the past, previous speakers, and in particular Speaker J.B. Muturi, has ruled when faced with similar situations where there have been very many amendment proposals to a bill. He has ruled that the winnowing exercise be undertaken before the Committee of the Whole can commence. But he has even gone further, Mr. Speaker. If you go to Article 118 of the Constitution, Article 118 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, imposes a duty on this House, without reading it, imposes a duty on this House to undertake proper public participation on any bill before it can be dispensed with or before it can be processed. Mr. Speaker, the upshot of this, and again this is buttressed by Standing Order 127.3, which I will read. 127.3, Mr. Speaker, and I seek members' indulgence. 127.3, the department committee to which a bill is committed shall facilitate public participation on the bill through an appropriate mechanism, including B, holding public hearings, and many other things. Mr. Speaker, going by the number of amendments being proposed, firstly by the Committee on Finance, and secondly by various other members and chairs of other committees, it would appear that the character of this bill is likely to change in a comprehensive manner, Mr. Speaker. And we are likely to be transacting business on matters which the public have not been given an opportunity to make their contribution. In other words, on a matter on which the public has not participated, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to just give two examples of bills which had not only been referred back to the Committee for Harmonization, which is winnowing, but actually were ordered to be republished by the Honorable Speaker J.B. Muturi. So, Speaker, one such bill is the gaming bill, Bill number 35 of 2019. The second bill is the Universities Amendment Bill of 2021. In those two instances, in respect of those two bills, Speaker Muturi, having assessed the enormity of the proposed amendments and the likelihood of them changing fundamentally the character of the original bill, and bearing in mind the requirements and the dictates of Article 118 of the Constitution on public participation, buttressed by Standing Order 127.3, did direct that the bills not only be harmonized, but actually be republished before the House could transact them. Mr. Speaker, in the same vein, I want to plead with you, because 30th of June is still too far away, Mr. Speaker. The House can find a mechanism of navigating through this process, but we cannot circumvent a very cardinal process, a very cardinal principle in the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which is public participation under Article 118, Mr. Speaker, by simply rushing through this process. Mr. Speaker, it is my submission that this bill requires not only a harmonization process, but actually requires to be republished, so that the public can be given adequate time and opportunity to participate. Mr. Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and may thank the Leader of Minority for raising those issues. However, Honorable Speaker, a number of the issues that have been touched on by the Leader of Minority are not accurate. Because, Honorable Speaker, I have been in this House for the last almost 11, 12 years with the Leader of Minority. We joined this House together. And he knows for a fact, because he has alluded to previous rulings by Speaker J.B. Muturi and precedents set by Speaker J.B. Muturi. The Leader of Minority knows for a fact there is not any single moment that Speaker Muturi, or indeed any other speaker in the history of this House, has allowed the process of winnowing alluded to under Standing Order 131 on money bills. That is a fact, and the Leader of Minority knows that is a fact. Winnowing has been done on other bills except money bills that are not subject to Article 114 of the Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, in view of that, Honorable Speaker, that's what I was saying, Honorable Speaker, it is not accurate what the Leader of Minority is saying. And indeed, if this was not a money bill, a winnowing process would help to enable the House to process the myriad of amendments that are similar in a faster way. But on money bills, the Leader of Minority, with all due respect, knows in the history of this House, it has never happened, because money bills are subject to the provisions of Article 114. Two, Honorable Speaker, this is not the first finance bill we are processing as a House. Neither is it the last. But filibustering is also not the first time we have seen it. And it's not the last time we have seen it, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I hear the Honorable Leader of Minority say that we don't need the concurrence of the National Treasury. And to an extent, I agree with him. We are not under the directions of the National Treasury at all. But I want to confirm that in line with the provisions of Article 114 of the Constitution, the Chair of the Finance Committee has been able to engage, and even after the House Business Committee this morning, Honorable Speaker, I was in a meeting with the chair of the Finance Committee and a whole delegation from the National Treasury to consider all the amendments that have been proposed both by the committee, and indeed, I can tell you there were clauses, amendments that had been proposed by the committee, which on consultation with the National Treasury, some were dropped. There are amendments. If you go through the supplementary order paper, Honorable Speaker, you will see the amendments by the member for Homa Bay, the Honorable Kaluma, that have been allowed following that consultation. There are amendments by the Honorable Oundo, Honorable Naisula, who is seated right at the back, Honorable Mbui, Honorable Aluoch, Honorable Mule. Therefore, there are myriad of many amendments that have been allowed following that consultation. And therefore, that's why I was saying it may not necessarily be very accurate to say that there are those that have been condemned and had. 2, Honorable Speaker, or 3, the question of public participation. In the history of legislative processes in this country since the enactment of the new constitution, Honorable Speaker, no other bill, none whatsoever, not even the infamous political parties bill, which we took through winnowing, none has had a more rigorous public participation exercise than this finance bill, Honorable Speaker. And I must commend the chair and the finance committee and members who sit in the finance committee from both sides of the political divide, because I know there are diligent members of the finance committee in Azimio who sat through the public participation. There are many members within the Kenya Kwanza coalition who sat for long hours through public participation. For the first time, Honorable Speaker, I have seen members of parliament, as Honorable Junet was saying, not just sitting up to midnight, sitting even on Sundays. At one point, Honorable